Hey everyone, this is Derek Bros with the Conscious Resistance Network. And today I want to take a moment to review the tenure, the term, the administration of outgoing Houston Mayor Sylvester Turner, who is in his last couple days in office and who I personally have had interactions with since 2018. He's been in office since 2016 to 2023. He did an 8-year term. 2 terms actually, of 4 years. He was elected twice. And I ran against him for his second term, which we'll talk more about in just a little bit. He's on the way out, and this guy is, there's a lot of things you could say about him. I want to say, first of all, that he's corrupt, that I think he is very thin-skinned. I think that he is a liar. And I also think that he perhaps did some level of good for Houston. But overall, this guy is just another tool, another piece of the larger puzzle to enact agendas like Agenda 2030, the smart city rollout, including the 5G rollout, and so much more. That has been the role, I believe, that Mayor Turner, Sylvester Turner, was supposed to play and has played since 2016 and 2023 here in the city of Houston, the 4th largest city in the country, is bringing it into the smart city age, the 5G age, and also being the mayor during COVID-19 and pushing for masking, mandating injections for the whole city of Houston, not for city of Houston employees, excuse me, not the city like civilians, but city of Houston employees were all mandated. We're going to talk all about that and more. This is going to be a highlight reel actually of some of my best work, I think, because I've confronted this guy at least 10 times over the last years, and a lot of it was about 5G. This was featured in my documentary on 5G, the 5G Trojan Horse, which you can find on our website, theconsciousresistance.com. So today, this is going to be kind of a breakdown. I'm going to show you some previous videos I've done. I'm going to show you a lot of information I've reported. It's kind of a look back on not only Turner's administration so that the real truth is told, because there's a couple levels here. There's his version of events, which is he's a great guy. He, weathered the storm literally by being the mayor during Hurricane Harvey here in Houston, which destroyed a lot of Houston and flooded a lot of people's homes. He was the mayor during COVID. He, has been the mayor and done all these amazing things, and he, the pension crisis and this and that. There's that sort of version of events. And then there's even some mainstream and Houston local criticism of him being a corrupt mayor because he did have federal investigations on his housing department and his health department, and officials around him being indicted. And even still to these last days of his administration, conflicts and questions about contracts at the airport here in Houston and whether his buddies are getting, good deals, just the usual typical political corruption, right? But there's even more than that, and that's the perspective that I'm going to share. That's, again, relating to 5G, the COVID stuff, smart cities, and more. We're going to talk about all that, so please stay tuned. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Now, in October 2018, I was in Houston. I had just come back from doing a U.S. tour, speaking tour around the United States, and I decided that I wanted to finally dive into the topic of 5G, electromagnetic frequencies, electromagnetic fields, the dangers, alleged dangers of cell phones and Wi-Fi and other things like that. And it happened that right as I was coming home from tour in October, and I was curious about this and decided this was going to be my next big topic, the mayor of Houston, Sylvester Turner, was having a press conference with the CEO of Verizon Wireless from all the way from Sweden, and they were announcing the world's first 5G customer and that Houston was going to be having this person. So they went to this young couple's house and they invited all the press out. I came and they let us film inside of their house, and they're like, ooh, look at they got a router and it's 5G and all this stuff and welcome to the future. And the mayor had this press conference, and I'm going to show you the clip here. This is where I got to question the mayor, and there's another video where I questioned the head of Verizon Wireless. And remember, at this point, I had only done a very minimal research on this topic. I knew that it started to, kind of occur to me that there was something there, but I really didn't know a whole lot about it. So just check this one out. This is Sylvester Turner, the first time I ever questioned him about 5G in Houston.
Anywhere in the world. It's just another bragging right. It's just another bragging right. Okay? New York can't say it, LA can't, Chicago, Philadelphia, Atlanta, DC, but we can say it in the city of Houston.
Mayor Turner, as far as moving forward with innovation and, like you said, wanting to be the first, has anybody stopped to look at any studies related to potential health effects of increasing the amount of small cells in the city, as well as privacy concerns that the American Civil Liberties Union and others have put out concerns regarding the push towards smart cities? Any thoughts on the health and privacy?
You know, I haven't seen any recent studies on it. I mean, the reality is that if you want to move things quicker, if you want to innovate, the infrastructure is critically important. And I think you're always assessing, the pros and the cons. But I haven't seen anything that would cause us to slow down. The only concern that the people have had is where you place a lot of these cells. Make sure you don't make your neighborhood unattractive or get in the way, for example, for people, let's say, with disabilities. And we're very sensitive and mindful of that.
There have been some concerns in California, related to the towers being near schools and things like that where there are children, because there have been a couple of studies that have hinted at effects on mice, but of course we don't know yet until the 5G systems roll out.
I've not been
I'll email you them again. I sent the email last week, but I don't know if anybody in City Council got it, but I'll be there tomorrow too. So it's a little hard to hear in that clip, but as I said there, I had already started to visit City Council. I think I just visited City Council the week before, so this would October 2nd. I think I started in September. And as I was telling him, hey, I'll email you the studies. So this is October 2018. I start going to City Council to do what I believed was going to be, naively educate the City Council and the mayor, and they're going to listen to me. And I've been there for fluoride and other things before. I know they generally don't care. But I started going to City Council because I realized I can take these videos off the city's website and then put them on the internet, and they get a lot of attention. And the first video I did going to City Council got over 1 million views before our previous channel was deleted on YouTube. But this one here is my second visit, and it's a short one, but I want you to hear this. I think this is another powerful part of confronting Sylvester Turner. And also, as we progress through his term, you'll see why he has such a distaste for me, and why, even all the way up till today, when I tried to question him this morning here in Houston, he still avoids any of my questions. So I want to update you guys just a couple pieces of information. And again, this was emailed to you earlier today. It's in all of your inboxes. I've yet to hear back from any council member via email, but I'm hoping you guys are checking these or getting them, and they're not just going to your spam or being ignored. Earlier this month in October, the Washington, D.C. Advisory Neighborhood Commissions, which is a local governing body in D.C., issued a resolution that says that winning the global race to 5G should not be the main concern. Instead, the protection of residents' health and welfare should be the highest priority of D.C. In the resolution, they say, instead of racing to authorize small cell installations without any reliable basis for finding they are safe, the district should oppose this federal imposition until scientific data shows it has no serious adverse consequences. Meanwhile, in Michigan, State Senator Patrick Colbert recently testified as well about the privacy concerns and the health concerns about the 5G rollout. And in that same testimony, we had Dr. Sharon Goldberg, who is a medical doctor certified in internal health, who said that the CDC needs to start measuring how much radiation people are exposed to.
Councilmember Christie.
Well, who did you quote first?
Sure. The first quote is from the Washington, D.C. Advisory Neighborhood Commissions, which is a local governing body similar to a city council that they have. I guess it's specific to D.C. And they issued this resolution earlier this month, basically calling on the city to, slow their rollout of the technology. That was in D.C. And the other two quotes were from Michigan.
Well, just what I reiterated last time, that there is some credibility to your concerns.
Dr. Christie, may I finish the quote from the Dr. Sharon Goldberg? So Dr. Sharon Goldberg, medical doctor, certified internal health, she testified to the Michigan State Senate just a number of weeks ago. She said the following: the CDC needs to start measuring how much radiation people are exposed to. What is our exposure in a day? It's not one cell phone. It's cell phones, multiple wireless networks, smart meters, cell towers. It's a sandwich of radiation, and it all adds up. This is a serious problem for occupational health, public safety, and personal safety. I feel it is irresponsible to be even talking about the Internet of Things and rolling out a new untested technology when we are not even measuring what our current exposures from the current networks are. So my suggestion is that the City of Houston and health officials hold a public hearing on this technology, put the brakes on the rollout until there are further studies, or at the least the people of Houston like myself are allowed to come forth and express their views, because so far the city has not been, nobody in the city has had an opportunity to express
their viewpoints on this. But based on what people are saying online, and based after I put this video online, I think people are pretty concerned. So I'm going to continue to come here and continue to email you guys, and hopefully, we can get some kind of traction or some sort of response. Again, please do check your emails, and I extend my invitation to come on.
All right. So you can see there, for one, I want to go back and highlight how when the camera panned to the mayor, he's on his phone. Like, he's just totally avoiding the conversation. He's not even looking at me. This is the way this slimy guy acted every time that I showed up. In fact, as you'll see, as I kept coming back, the mayor typically, towards the end, would just get up and leave. So if he saw me coming, he wouldn't even be there. He would literally leave and just do his best to avoid me. So let's go to another one. This is now my 4th visit. This is December 2018, and this one I want to highlight again for another couple reasons. I'll just let the video do the talking, but again, we're focusing on Sylvester Turner and his corruption, and these next videos you're going to find out, we'll find out now. Now, is there a reason why maybe Sylvester Turner doesn't want to talk about the 5G stuff? Is there something going on, something maybe that would prevent him from communicating about this?
I'll be brief. It's been a long day for all of us, I'm sure. A couple of weeks ago, about 3 weeks now, I came back to discuss what I've been talking to you guys about for about 2 months now, 5G, 5th generation cellular technology. I was here the week before Thanksgiving. We had Ms. Stardig ask the mayor pro tem at the time if you guys have made any efforts to actually look into health concerns related to 5G, have the city has done any health assessments. Whenever I'm finished, I'd like an answer to that, Mayor, if anybody has anything to add to that. We do have members of the city who've been emailing and calling various city council members. They've been told to direct their efforts to the health department. They've been told to come to city council, and so we're here asking for help again. I want to just give you guys a little bit more encouragement so others out there who are listening can know that this is not just the ravings of one person, that there are many people asking questions, including scientists, doctors, researchers. And last week, December 3rd, we had Connecticut State Senator Richard Blumenthal hold a press conference where he called on the head of the FCC. Mayor, if you got a moment, please tune in. He asked the head of the FCC to provide the data showing that 5G has been proven safe. And he gave them, the Connecticut State Senator gave him a deadline of December 17th for him to provide this data. He specifically said we want to assure our constituents that the technology that's rolling out, 5G, that we're giving them accurate information, and this is to people who have concerns. So you have people raising concerns. Now we've talked about California, Michigan, Connecticut, all around the country, from senators, from doctors, activists, and researchers talking about surveillance concerns, privacy concerns. And I'm really concerned, I think, with what it's, the people talking about the schools today are worried about the mayor and city council's close connection to certain industries and certain groups and how that might influence an issue. And I really, Mayor, after all this time of asking you face-to-face and asking the head of Verizon, the fact that you got awarded the 5G Wireless Champion Award in September 2018, I would hate to believe that that has anything to do with why you won't respond to any questions about 5G, why you haven't discussed the safety or lack of safety related to small cells, and why Houston is just marching forward, partnered with Verizon to implement 5G without giving the people of the city anything. You're not offering us anything. Can you say conclusively that it's safe? Can you say conclusively that we will still have privacy once 5G goes live? Or are you just concerned with being the first and making sure we have driverless cars and all these different things that you've talked about in interviews? Again, you were awarded the 5G Wireless Champion, so I would expect you to know something about what you were being given an award for. And just invite each of you to check your emails, check your phone calls, because people are emailing you, people are contacting you. And we need something from you guys. Otherwise, at least I just want to make sure that I keep coming here and putting it on record that you guys are ignoring the questions that people have. And in the future, if there are lawsuits for people getting cancer, getting illnesses, or other concerns, you guys will be held accountable.
Your time has expired.
Thank you. And I do support 5G. Thank you.
Do you have anything to say about the safety, the health aspects of it, Mayor?
Councilmember Christie.
Okay, so I just want to show that. Like, that right there reveals who this man truly is. You see, after everything I said, after all the concerns that I've expressed, I'm not a crazy person. I've come to him as a journalist, questioning him, saying, "Hey, are you aware of this information?" He's like, "Oh, I haven't seen anything." At first he's like acts like he's genuinely interested. I haven't seen anything, but sure, feel free to email it to me or come to city council, kind of with that smile on his face. And then every visit I show up, he doesn't say anything. And when he finally does, when I call him out for the fact that he was given the 5G Wireless Champion Award by the CTIA, the Cellular Telephone Internet Association, basically the lobby, a lobby group for big wireless, the only thing he can say back is, "And I do support 5G," and just this kind of mocking tone, and no addressing of the facts that I'm bringing, the concerns, even if you thought I was wrong, even if you think I'm wrong about the studies I'm bringing or what's going on in other cities, or if you don't care. Am I not a Houstonian, a person who should be treated with the same respect that everybody else who comes there should be given? Of course I am, but we all know that's not how politicians are. And this guy is fake as shit, and he's going around now acting like he was the greatest mayor ever. Here's a little more of that clip if you want to see it.
Thank you, Jack.
I think your cause is just, all right? But I think your focus should be on education. And that's going to be the toughest part of it because there's a science illiteracy in this country. And when you're talking sound vibrations, whether you're talking shooting electrons through, whether it's a CAT scan or whether it's messing with the protons with the proton therapy, or MRIs that magnetize cellular electrons, the airport body scanners. People don't understand what that does to cellular biology. And if it doesn't immediately hurt, they don't care because they don't understand that bit by bit, and the most vulnerable of the population are the children. Those cells are more vulnerable than any other cells. So I just exhort you to work on education, which is tough.
I've come here now several times, Jack, and I talked to you earlier. I've emailed everybody here, but if you guys don't answer the emails or respond, then no education is going to happen. You know what I mean? Like, you guys are busy people, but I'm spoon feeding you information. And if you don't take it, and Mayor sit here and says, "Yes, I do support 5G," but he won't explain anything, then I don't. I mean,
just think how many decades environmentalists have been working on saving our planet, and that some are still not listening, and they don't understand the damage that it can do to the human body. So, hang in there. Your cause is just, and there's got to be some limit to the damage that we do to the cells of the human body. And children are the most vulnerable.
All right, so there you go. That was the fourth time confronting the mayor. And again, I'm appealing to him directly. I'm calling him out directly. This is why it gets to the point where when I show up after that, this is now, we're going to jump forward about a year. I go to city council. I see the mayor at events. I want to show you this other interview I did where the mayor laughs in my face. This is at a campaign event. This is actually while I was running for mayor of Houston, because for those who don't know, I decided to run for mayor and the election in 2019. Basically, after I started investigating 5G in 2018 and all these experiences I just showed you, I was like, this guy's corrupt as hell. He's rolling out 5G. He's bringing out smart cities, and there's more, as I'm going to show in just a second, some partnerships he's taken. And I decided I needed to run for mayor. So I decided to run for mayor, talking about 5G, talking about taking away the power of the mayoral position. And this is at a campaign event that we were both at, where I attempted to talk to him about 5G. And this is, again, how he treats me. Check this out.
Take note of what the mayor does and how he acts in this clip.
Great to see you. Thank you. How you doing?
How you doing, Mayor?
Hey, man.
When are we going to get to sit down? When are we going to get to sit and talk down? I want to ask you a real.
I already know what you want to ask me.
Well, come on then. Then answer it. You know the question. You don't got to touch it, bro. Because you're the 5G wireless champion. Come on. Isn't that what they gave you? The award? The CTIA? The cellular industry gave you the 5G wireless champion award? And then you won't even answer any questions at city council. It's so funny. The people of Houston are concerned about privacy and health, and you're the 5G wireless champion, and you won't even listen to them. It's hilarious. Don't touch me, sir. Don't touch me. It's hilarious, Mayor Turner. I'll see you at city council. You can keep laughing. People of Houston are paying attention. Don't touch my equipment. Now they ignore me at city council. That's
All right, so he goes to laughing in my face, running out and ignoring me. And here's one final I'll show you. Well, first off, let me show you. Here's the CTIA, as I mentioned, the Cellular Telephone Internet Association. This is them giving the mayor of Houston and mayor of Pensacola, Florida, a few others, a 5G Wireless Champion Award. Mayor Turner's leadership in Houston helped streamlining the permitting process by not requiring a license or attachment agreement for new poles or small cells, and completes reviews ahead of deadlines. Houston is among the fastest at reviewing and approving permits and leads all cities in Texas with 548 permits. This was years ago. Who knows how many it is now? And then just kind of expand on that, Mayor Turner and Microsoft expand digital alliance with the city of Houston. This has been his whole goal, is to turn Houston into a smart city. He is collaborating with these big tech companies, and there's some more in just a moment, to turn Houston into a smart city. I believe that was the major role of his term, his administration. I think that was what he was here to do, is to help push Houston into that direction, which is part of Agenda 2030, which is part of these same programs and issues that I've been fighting and trying to expose. That's why I ran for mayor. That's why I ran again, even though he's on the way out, to confront people like this. So here's my final city council visit. Well, there was more, but this is the final one I want to show you today, and you can get a little more taste of my interaction with Mayor Turner and who he is.
Just want to say thanks to those who came here speaking up about Modi, and I think it is important. And more people in this city and around the country are expecting their political leaders to take a stance, not to just, say, well, we have to be kind and respectful, but actually take a stand on certain issues. The piece of paper that's being passed out to each of you, I would appreciate if you take a look at it. This is just a list this is 15 different articles that I've found over the last couple of months, some going from March, most of them in the last few weeks, related to concerns about 5G, the 5G rollout. That is, of course, taking place here in Houston, and that affects people in this city, whether they are Muslim, Hindu, Indian, Pakistani, animals as well as humans. No matter what, it affects everybody here. And just looking at a list of these are coming from mainstream sources as well as local news. Communities of color wary of DC's 5G plan. Cities are saying no to 5G, citing health, aesthetics, and FCC bullying from the Wall Street Journal. Battle brews between cities, wireless carriers on 5G deployment, Bloomberg Law. Also reports from Switzerland, Californians fighting FCC regulations. And we also have on the science side, forecasters fear 5G wireless technology could mess up weather predictions. Lake Forest residents voice concerns over 5G towers. That's from CBS LA. Cities argue that 5G internet rollout violates property rights. How 5G pits big carriers and governments against small towns. 5G technology will bring challenges for local government all the way down to the neighborhood level. The future of 5G, the bitter battle for local control. 5G cell towers are coming to Florida, and they could be installed in your front yard, from Florida Today. Verizon sues city to avoid 5G fees. That's what's happening. The cities who are actually standing up, like Rochester, New York, Portland, Oregon, Danville, California, and others, are actually facing lawsuits from the corporations. It's pretty crazy to think a city, like if you guys had concerns and wanted to stand up and do something about this, as Mr. Travis has said before, that he would support an environmental health assessment. I'd love to hear more from each of you. But if you chose to do that, this company, Verizon or Microsoft, could sue the city for trying to listen to the concerns of the residents. That's what's happening in other places. And I'd point you to number 16 on that list. This just came out in the last couple of weeks from the Chicago Tribune, a mainstream press. We tested popular cell phones for radio frequency radiation. Now the FCC is investigating. And they use the FCC standards to test a number of cell phones, just the currently existing technology, not even 5G. And they found that the iPhone 7 is emitting 200 times the amount of legal allowable radiation. So if the jury's still out, they're having to now do an investigation from the FCC on cell phones, which everybody's already using, maybe have in your back pocket or your chest pocket at the moment. And yet we're rolling forward into smart cities, into sensors surrounding us from all different directions with privacy concerns, health concerns, property concerns, local power concerns. This touches on the environment, and locally it also touches on corruption.
Thank you very much.
Please check it out, guys. Thank you.
I tried, guys. I really did try. I tried to stop 5G in Houston, and more importantly, I tried to expose the mayor Sylvester Turner, who was steamrolling ahead, laughing in my face, ignoring, and of course the city council members who were basically powerless in Houston, they pretty much stood by. None of them ever really reached out to me other than Jack Christie, that one that you heard, the older guy who was a chiropractor, who was very aware of the problems. Other than him, nobody else bothered. Now, moving on, Sylvester Turner in 2020, he started partnering with big tech companies. He called for $8.5 million for funding for, quote, new technological enhancements, including working with Amazon's Ring doorbell camera and Shot Spotter. I think I say incorrectly in this video. I call it Spot Shotter, but it's Shot Spotter, which is a program, a tool that police can use supposedly, allegedly to detect gunshots, but it's also, as I'm about to show you here, can be used to record and listen to people in communities. And it's an invasion of privacy, but it's being sold to us like all these things, like it's necessary for weaponizing and militarizing the police in order to fight crime and this and that. But it's all about pushing us further into the surveillance state, the surveillance city. It's not a smart city, it's a surveillance city. So here's just a real quick clip of me confronting Sylvester Turner about this partnership and this call for money from Amazon and others to partner with Amazon.
I'm going to talk to you about public-private partnerships based on a press conference held last week. But first, I came here back in late January to introduce myself to some of the newer members, and I did follow up with an email to all of you about pertinent information about the 5G concerns that local residents have brought to me. So if you check your emails and just search 5G, you should probably find that. And I also emailed you this morning. As I said, a public-private partnership. Last week, the mayor held a press conference along with Police Chief Art Acevedo, seeking $8.5 million in private investments. And I know that Ms. Cisneros and Ms. Evan Shabazz, as well as Ms. Acorn were present. Ms. Alcorn were there. So I really, again, check your emails because I sent you an email about this a couple hours ago. But I think there's some things that we should be bringing attention to. Particularly in this press conference, the mayor mentioned the city working with Amazon and Amazon's Ring. For those who are unfamiliar, Amazon's doorbell camera is called Ring, and they've started to partner with hundreds of police departments around the country. Cities like Detroit and New Orleans are already operating what are sometimes known as green light camera systems, where the businesses and people's homes start voluntarily giving police access to their camera systems. And I've sent you these links in your email, so please check that. But when you start looking into the research, there are a number of cities and privacy activists, as well as lawyers with the American Civil Liberties Union, who are concerned about the relationship that Amazon has with local police departments and with governments, specifically by giving them access to people's doorbell cameras. Amazon also has discussed plans to install facial recognition camera software on their doorbell cameras. So there are many people raising awareness about how this could change privacy in a city like Houston, where you have police having access to doorbell cameras as well as CCTVs, not to mention the thousands of cameras that have already been installed by the Department of Homeland Security. Again, I sent you guys a number of articles. Senator Ed Markey, a Democrat from Massachusetts, sent a letter to Amazon's Jeff Bezos asking for information on Ring recently, saying he was concerned about troubling reports regarding Ring and facial recognition technology. One of the other tools that was mentioned, and again, I did send you guys links to this, was the mayor and Mr. Acevedo said they're already testing Spot Shotter, which is a technology. Again, I recommend looking into this. Spot Shotter has been installed in places like Chicago and other cities, and essentially it's a recording device that's supposed to only turn on whenever it hears a gunshot. But we're already seeing in other cases there have been people have been tried based on evidence that was gathered from Spot Shotter recording. These devices don't just turn on randomly whenever they hear a gunshot. They're recording at all times. And so there are already lawsuits going on. Again, I will be filing an open records request on the journalistic side of things. But what I've seen, what people are kind of calling for, and I guess what I'm asking of you guys, is one, as we're moving forward with this partnership with Amazon, Spot Shotter, have you guys brought in any protections for privacy that are already being implemented? Are there plans to introduce resolutions to talk about that, or to form a committee to make sure that people's data is being protected as we go forward?
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Your time has expired.
Thank you.
Please do check your emails. Thank you.
And as usual, nobody said anything, nobody contacted me, and it marches forward. Nevertheless, let's go ahead and look forward to two other areas. I mentioned the Amazon thing already. Amazon opens Tech Hub in Houston. This is because Sylvester Turner wanted to turn, along with Smart City, he kept talking about making Houston the Silicon Bayou, because we're a bayou city, there's a bayou that runs, making us, instead of Silicon Valley, the Silicon Bayou, and trying to attract all the tech companies. Here you go, July 2019, Amazon launches Houston Web Services Hub as city looks to boost tech sector. And there's the mayor with the enterprise sales leader for Amazon Web Services. And even more recently, I did a report just a couple months ago. Ike Smart City kiosks are recording Houston. These things are called Ike. They stand for Interactive Kiosk Entertainment, I think, or something. Oh, any interactive kiosk experience. And they have cameras all around them. These are being implemented and installed all around Houston. Again, another part of this smart city thing where they want it to seem like it's going to be a very futuristic city with helpful information everywhere. But if you see these things, they're promoting Pfizer vaccines. They're promoting like support Israel. Like they're clearly not only spying on people, probably recording them. I encourage you to watch this report that I covered a couple months ago. But they're definitely pushing propaganda. And this is all just part of Sylvester Turner's efforts. And again, I'll show you, here he is holding the 5G Wireless Champion Award. This is him in his own words back in September 2018. I am honored to receive CTIA's 5G Wireless Champion Award, honoring our city's commitment. Now let's think about that. Let's go back to the very first video I showed you. Houston mayor questioned on 5G October 1st. This is when that happened. Only days before, 3 days before, he was awarded the 5G Wireless Champion Award. And then the head of Verizon comes to Houston. They install the 5G for the world's first 5G customer. And then he just ignores me over a couple of years period, expands the smart city tech with Microsoft, with Amazon, and with tools like ShotSpotter, bringing in, just more cameras all over the city. And then the smart city kiosks. And as I mentioned, I decided I was going to run for mayor. I ran for mayor against him in 2019. I did not win. So he is mayor still currently, and this is his last couple of days. I also want to mention that, as I said, there's even in the mainstream, there's Mario Diaz. I want to get it up to him. He's KPRC2, local NBC reporter, who actually is doing his job. He's got some new reporting out about more kind of local issues, but I think it's still corruption, how the mayor is steering contracts at the airport towards friendly contacts. And there's just been a lot of controversy over that, like about different contracts throughout his term. I think he's a stereotypical corrupt politician, but it goes even deeper than that. I want to show you just another quick piece of this, because Sylvester Turner is also a member of the C40 mayors, the climate mayors, which some of you might remember. It was recently reported that in 2019, the climate mayors, they put out a document called The Future of Urban Consumption. And they said in their most aggressive approach that there would be no meat consumption or dairy consumption by 2030 in these C40 cities. And so Sylvester Turner is a part of that. And that's one of the things I tried to question him on today. I'll include a quick clip here at the end of me trying to question him today. It didn't work out. A couple other points I want to make about Turner. I pointed out some of the smart city stuff earlier. Here's a little more. He established this Smart City Council. This was back in May 2018. So right around the time I started calling him about 5G, this is right as he's announcing his smart city vision. We're going to have Wi-Fi everywhere. He wants driverless cars, which they've started to roll out in Houston. They've gone a lot slower than he's hoped. They talk about new sensors and stuff to help with flooding. That's the way they really promote this, is it's going to be better for the environment, things like that. Now, he was a member of the Resilient Cities Network. Looks like when I search for it, it doesn't come up, which is interesting. So let's go ahead and see if we can find this on Archive real quick, because he was a member of the Resilient Cities Network. I think he was the chairman for a little while. And yeah, look, both the links I'm trying to search have been taken down. And all you need to know is that the Resilient Cities, here we go, I found the board of directors, Mayor Sylvester Turner right there. They took it down for whatever reason since September 2020. Chairman, right? And maybe they're going to change this because he's not mayor anymore. But you got to go look into who is the Resilient Cities Network, right? And who's funding them and who their partners are. And sure enough, well, let me go find this again. It's not working today either. They took it down. But the Rockefeller Foundation, I'll just save you the suspense. They've taken it down. Board of Directors, our Global Steering Committee. Let's look it up and see if it's here. So Turner, there, yeah, he's listed right there. Sylvester Turner is still the chairman, board of directors of the Resilient Cities Network. And this group is just another globalist organization supported by the likes of the Rockefellers and others to push Agenda 2030. This is his whole purpose, I believe. Agenda 2030, resilient cities, sustainability. And sure, it's resulted in some new parks and some community gardens and some solar projects, which I think are good things. But overall, his goal is pushing the Agenda 2030 narrative. Now let's go into one final area before we wrap up. And I totally forgot about this. Sylvester Turner was also responsible for getting the documentary Vaxxed, which you guys might know about back in 2016, the viral documentary, from preventing it from being screened in Houston. Now, long story short, I'll leave this link to this article I wrote back in 2016, Why Did Houston's Mayor Prevent Vax from Being Screened? And you might remember there was some controversy in the New York's Tribeca Film Festival where Vaxxed was supposed to show. The Tribeca Film Festival was partially funded by Robert De Niro. He wanted it to be seen. Some people started complaining about it. They removed it, and then it was censored. And then after that, though, they found another place that would screen it. It was the Houston International Film Festival that said, hey, we'll premiere this documentary. Ultimately, though, it was removed. And I found out by doing real journalism and doing some reporting on this, that basically it was the mayor, Sylvester Turner himself, who told them that they had to remove this, that because the Houston International Film Festival was in part funded by the city of Houston, that they would remove their funding if they screened this documentary, which questioned the safety of vaccines, of course. And you can also see Fox 26 confirmed this as well, that the controversial autism film Vaxxed has been dropped from the lineup following the direct intervention of Sylvester Turner. The mayor asked that it be removed from the lineup. I believe Judge Emmett did the same, said Janice Evans. This is what they told me directly. She said the film was also removed from the Tribeca Film Festival, so Houston is not alone. And they're talking about Judge Emmett, Harris County judge at the time in Houston, said that the film had mistakenly implied that the county government was providing funding for the festival. Judge Emmett, a supporter of childhood vaccinations, contacted the festival and Turner's office, and since the city of Houston had provided the funding, the mayor's office of cultural affairs reached out and asked them not to be screened. So I contacted them directly and was able to confirm that the mayor did stop the film from being seen, but they said that they did not ask it to be. They asked that it not be screened at the Houston International Film Festival. This was her direct quote. The mayor did not halt the showing of the movie. He asked that it not be included in the lineup because the film festival has received city grant funding. Isn't that like the greatest government speak? We didn't ask that it not be shown, but we did say don't include it in the lineup. It is contradictory for the city to provide financial assistance to an event that is disseminating an anti-vaccine message that is counter to the work our health department does. And when I pressed them on this, and I said asking if it would be contradictory for the city to allow Houstonians to view a film that provides them with information needed to make wise health decisions, I also asked her on whether or not taxpayers have a right to view the film and choose how best to treat their families. The statement I provided to you will suffice, is what I was told. And Hunter Todd, who's the chairman of the Houston International Film Festival, also told local news that he was going to drop the screening because of pressure from other parts of the country. But the mayor's office directly intervened. I mean, it was later, there was a leaked email showing that the distributor of Vaxxed was pressured by, quote, Houston government officials to drop the film. And, they said high Houston government officials said we had no choice but to drop the film. This is the guy involved in the Houston International Film Festival. So they tried to play it off like nothing happened, but this guy came out and emails came out, and it shows clearly he was pressured by somebody, more than likely Sylvester Turner, and who knows who he was pressured by. But so Sylvester Turner added to the top of the list of not only is he the Smart City 5G wireless champion, Amazon, Microsoft, Smart City rollout Agenda 2030 pusher, and then, of course, COVID vaccine pusher. I don't even think I showed any of those clips yet, but that's on my list too. During COVID, I was the only journalist showing up questioning the shots, the safety of the shots, the questioning the health department for the PCR test. I went to numerous press conferences questioning the mayor. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, the mayor mandated COVID-19 vaccinations for all City of Houston employees. That was the only power he could really do. Him and County Judge Lena Hidalgo also said that they were doing necessary disobedience or civil resistance or something like that, a civil disobedience by wearing masks and resistance against the governor of Texas who was trying to stop mandates and things like that. So they were horrible. He was horrible during COVID. And then, as I mentioned, the vaccine thing here. And this is why I ran for mayor against this guy. He's a liar. He's a crook. And when it comes down to the real issues that matter, okay, he built some parks. Okay, he's got, they have a compost bin for 30 days in Houston now because of him. There's one rain barrel at this park. I mean, call it greenwashing, call it too little too late, whatever you think. I think this guy's a crook. He's a liar. He's full of it. And I'm happy to have spent my time calling him out over the last 6 years. And you know, it is what it is. I'm done with him. I'm done trying to get him to be accountable. And unfortunately, this guy doesn't care about anybody but himself. So I think that we have seen all we need to see from Sylvester Turner. And guys, thank you for supporting me. Thank you for following me throughout this journey as I've tried to hold him accountable. And I will continue to hold any Houston mayor, John Whitmire, accountable as long as I'm in Houston. And every time I come back to Houston, I will do my best as a journalist, as an activist, to raise awareness, to ask hard questions, and to keep confronting politicians. So thank you guys for listening. Peace out, Sylvester Turner. Hope you're done with politics and you're done being corrupt. Hopefully you now can actually see what your actions have done. Till next time, guys, remember, you are powerful, you are beautiful, and you are free. Peace.
Mayor Turner. Mayor Turner, got a question on the way out? This is your second time in the neighborhood. I got to be able to ask you a question if you're in the neighborhood. I'm walking with you. I just wanted to ask you about all the climate action. I'm going to walk all the way to the truck. The climate action, like yesterday's, like he's kind of closing out his tenure with more climate related. Not that he hasn't. Okay, good. Mayor Turner, just wanted to ask you about yesterday's climate. You're 5 minutes from my house. You're right here. You don't have time for 2 minutes. Don't put your hands on me, sir. You don't have time for 2 minutes. You're stopping for everybody else. Mr. Turner, this is the last time I might get to talk to you after 8 years. Just a quick question about your climate action. You're part of the C40 mayors. Don't put your hands on me. Sir, you're part of the C40. Hey, I'm in a public property area. And he is a public person. You're a public employee. You're not a cop. You're fucking tough. So try again. He's off duty, though. He ain't off duty.